Mr. Chairman, and I too join my colleague Sherrod Brown in being very pleased to be introducing you, Bob, along with the Honorable Senator, Leader, Chairman Bob Dole. I thought it was particularly fitting that everybody in the room applauded Senator Dole when you said you thought USTRs were underrated.
Didn't say all of them.
That's right, you didn't say all of them. But as a former USTR, I'm delighted that Bob Lighthizer is willing to step up and take this job. And I know we'll have to work out something, it sounds like, but we need him. And I actually think the ranking member made some good points about the urgency of this task. And so I'm glad that you're willing to do it. I'm glad that we're here. You know, you're a guy, although you're a Floridian now, who does hail from the Buckeye State. And Ashtabula is one of those parts in Ohio that's been hit hard by unfair trade, and you stood up both in your roles in government and in the private sector. There are a lot of reasons that you'd be good. One is you bring the experience that is needed right now. So you've got the Hill experience, you've also got the experience at USTR, and the experience of working with the private sector on some of these tough trade issues. You're a Georgetown law graduate, which we won't hold against you. And you launched yourself into quite a respectable private sector career. I know you were at a big law firm here when Senator Dole called up and said, hey, I'm looking for a young, bright conservative to come join me here in the Hill. You have been Deputy U.S. Trade Representative under Ronald Reagan and USTR Bill Brock, one of the great USTRs. He was underrated. And in that role, you know, you got the whole view, because at that time the deputies at USTR really had a broad panoply of responsibilities, were pure deputies. Now it's divided more in geographic areas. There's a separate deputy for agriculture and so on. But when you were there, you had to look at all the issues. I think that's great experience. You've been an advocate for balanced trade. The importance of trade exports was talked about today, and that trade expansion is critical to middle-class jobs in my home state of Ohio. 25% of our factory workers have export jobs. We want more of them. They're better paying, 18% on average more, good benefits. But you've also understood the importance of having balance. In other words, rigorously enforcing our trade laws and trade enforcement. And I think that's the right balance now. Your work, particularly on behalf of our steel workers, I think gives you that sensitivity to know that we've got the best workers in the world. We can compete, but it's got to be on that level playing field. And I think that experience is critically important right now. It's a difficult issue, trade. Lots of politics around it, and even around this committee, you know, looking who's here today, there's a different point of view represented by every seat here. And obviously it's an issue that came up during the campaign. It comes up in every campaign. There's a lot of misinformation out there, in my view, about trade. And again, someone who has experience and credibility in enforcing trade laws and stepping up for people like those steelworkers you stepped up for, I think has some credibility to be able to promote the right kind of trade policy. I've also noticed that members of the new administration have some strong views on trade. Sometimes those views aren't always the same, I've noticed too. Frankly, I think in my view, they're going to benefit from having someone with your experience and your perspective to be able to help coordinate that effort and be a better bridge to Capitol Hill, because that's a critical part of this job. USTR was created by this committee and the Ways and Means Committee and by the Congress. And it has a unique relationship and responsibility to these committees, including being able to pass trade agreements. And I know you've negotiated a few yourself and have had to negotiate also, therefore, with Capitol Hill. So Bob is tenacious, he's creative, he's seasoned, he's knowledgeable, and I very much look forward to working with him as our next U.S. trade representative. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you.